Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me for what is normally my patrons forecast that I put out on Wednesdays for my patrons. However, I'm going to send this one out as my weekend forecast for everybody. Since we got a 4-day weekend, give everybody an idea of what the weather is going to look like this weekend. Things look so-so. Tonight, we have a chance for a little bit of rain after dark. Nothing that's going to affect any of your plans for the 3rd, but could be still some showers left over for the first half of tomorrow. Late morning, I think we clear out. Any rain left over should be getting out of here by tomorrow morning. And then Saturday doesn't look great. Man, we have had a bad stretch of Saturdays in the midst of what's really been some pretty nice weather. Next week also looks a little unsettled. We're not going to talk too much about next week, though. Let's take a look at what's going on across the country. You can see the front that's still got a good ways to go before it gets to us. That's why it's not going to be till after dark that we see the issues with this. But you can kind of see this frontal boundary. It's going to come through. We're going to get decent weather on Friday before like this second round here kind of makes a run at us on Saturday with a chance for rain really throughout the day on Saturday. It's not going to be constant, I don't think. Definitely not going to be constant, but it could be heavy and really could come at just about any time. So you sort of got to be prepared anytime, at least as it looks now for Saturday. I wouldn't have those outdoor plans on Saturday. They just need to come with the chance for umbrellas and things like that. I know there's the parade in Londonderry is on Saturday. Lots of fireworks and things like that happen on Saturday. I wouldn't say there's no chance or that most of those things will happen, rain or shine, except for maybe the fireworks. But just know that you should be prepared to have them interrupted. Not great news. I know the Saturdays have been tough. Sorry about that. I wish I could do something about it, but unfortunately, it is what it is. So here's showers and thunderstorms. What comes through tonight's going to be pretty light, and anything left over tomorrow morning will also be pretty light, so I wouldn't be too worried about that in terms of affecting the weather tomorrow during the day, except for a few sprinkles in the morning. Just kind of be prepared for it. Wouldn't be surprised if most of us just see a little light sprinkle overnight, and then basically we're cloudy in the morning, and then getting better as the day goes on tomorrow. Tomorrow is pretty nice for the actual 4th. Any fireworks that happen tomorrow night, I think those are in good shape. Any fireworks on Friday night are in good shape. It's really just Saturday that's the real problem of the weekend. Sunday, by the way, after we get through stuff, is going to be nice on Sunday as well. It's also going to be humid on Saturday. So as we kind of get one day of humidity, could be a little humid tomorrow as well, but especially on Saturday, there's a pretty good it's going to feel humid on Saturday. So let's take a look at that overall pattern. Here we got a little bit of a ridge and then kind of a weak trough to our west, and that battleground between the two, which is sort of headed in our direction. That is what gives us the unsettled weather. The nice thing about it is with the trough across the country, and that will be the case kind of at least with no real big ridges building for the next week and a half, means no real hot weather. Doesn't mean we won't get warm. We'll be in the 80s. We're at that time of year where even when you're not real warm, it can be in the 80s, especially if you get any sun, but it's not going to get real hot. There's definitely been some signs that later on, kind of mid-July, that could change. It's kind of inevitable that we'll get some stretches of real hot weather. We'll have to see. But that kind of, not next week, but kind of looking way out into the future, which I would say mostly you can't really figure out much except for overall trends. But the trend for that kind of time period does start to get really warm potentially. But we really don't need to worry about that now. That's like in the 10 to 14 day forecast, which is really kind of almost out in la la land. But the temperature trends can be a little accurate to that point. So anywho, let's take a look at temperatures. You can kind of see here. This is pretty... not real hot, a little bit, heat in the deep south. Again, this is warm enough that if you're there, it's not fun, but it's also very common this time of year. A lot of humidity, but you can see across the northern plains, actually, we've got some nice weather, even some cooler temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Nice weather. For us, we're kind of warm-ish, or about average, really, with temperature. A lot of temperatures in the low 80s right now, upper 70s. Nice, really pretty nice weather. Today's a nice weather day out there. It's warm if you're out there in the sun. It's good beach weather, but it's also not hot, and it has led to pretty good sleeping weather as well. Let's take a look. Oh, I did want to before we look at the actual forecast, just kind of give you Beryl one last chance of looking at it. It has weakened some today, not as much as probably hoping before it hits the southern coast of Jamaica, which is basically happening right now. Hopefully everybody has battened down the hatches as much as possible, and it's not being more problematic than it is definitely going to be. Already been a really big storm for a lot of the Caribbean. Earliest Cat 5 hurricane in history, only Cat 4 hurricane we've ever had in the Atlantic in June. It is a harbinger of what could be a rough hurricane season. Hopefully not the first of many, but hopefully it's not the first of many that hit land. It's one thing for them to be there. It's another thing for them to hit land. It looks like it's going to make a run at the Yucatan Peninsula. How strong it'll be when it gets there, a little tough to tell, but still water's plenty warm in this part of the world already for this kind of thing to happen, and water temperatures will continue to come up. So yeah, could be a rough hurricane season. La Nina plus really warm water, not a good combination. So we'll have to see what happens, but it doesn't look promising. Hopefully nothing makes a run up at us here in New England. You can definitely, just because it's bad in some places for hurricane season doesn't mean it will be here, but just something to keep an eye on. Okay, so tomorrow, morning rain, and that's probably even overdoing it a little bit. Some sprinkles. I wouldn't be too worried about that. If you're up doing something first thing in the morning, just know it could be some sprinkles left over. But basically, afternoon, you're definitely good. Evening is very nice tomorrow. Temperatures in the low to mid 80s. We clear out, pretty nice night. Cool back down to reasonable sleeping temperatures, although humidity is a little higher Thursday, Friday, and definitely on Saturday than we've been. Friday, nice day, warm day, sunny. Basically, no real chance for rain on Friday. And temperatures in the mid to even upper 80s in some of those valley locations. Could be a few sprinkles. This would be like after dark again on Friday, so any fireworks or anything like that happening, this is probably after midnight realistically towards morning. And then Saturday kind of brings a chance of rain throughout the day, which clears out about as we get towards the end of the day on Saturday. And it holds temperatures back some, although still pretty warm, and it's going to feel humid. It'll be soupy on Saturday. Not a great day on Saturday. Sunday, very nice. Humidity kind of heads out as we clear through here, and low humidity temperatures in the low 80s. Really nice day on Sunday. So if you get the chance to choose, what do I want to do outside stuff over the next 4 days? Thursday's okay for the most part. Friday's really good. Saturday's not great. Sunday is really good. So that's sort of try to plan around that if you have any ability to do that. I know, like I said, lots of activities on Saturday this time of year. Just have the umbrella, have the raincoat, because it's going to potentially be rainy. Won't be all day. You could miss stuff, right? The parade here in Londonderry, it's entirely possible that it doesn't rain for that hour, but it's also entirely possible that it does. So you just got to be ready for it. Otherwise, there you go. That's what it looks like. Temperature's pretty average here. Saturday's the only day that kind of feels soupy, but temperatures aren't quite as high. So it won't feel great, but it will be okay. Let's take a look at that weekend, or the weekend highlights. Showers overnight tonight into July 4th, mostly in the morning. Basically entirely in the morning. Friday is a very nice outdoor day. Saturday brings numerous showers and humid conditions. Sunday is a great outdoor day, and then Monday will be as well, before we get a little more unsettled next week. So if you want to get outside next week, early in the week looks better, and definitely some unsettled weather as you head, unfortunately, through the second half of next week. So we'll have to just kind of keep an eye on that. It's a little too early to tell entirely, but definitely looks like a decent amount of showers and thunderstorms as we head towards the end of next week as well. All right. That's what things are looking like here for your July 4th weekend. I will be back Monday with a look at next week, your work week forecast next week. Thanks for supporting the channel. I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. They help support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy. If you're interested in becoming a patron, there is a link in the description below that talks about how you can do that. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel before, I would encourage you to do so. I will be back, like I said, on Monday with a look at next week's work week forecast.